Great Awakenings. Give it a few moments for the notifications to go out and then I will get started. If you catch this on the replay, just put hashtag replay. Say hello so I can see who's joining this morning. So while we wait for the notification to go out and for people to come in, I know that we are operating this morning on daylight savings time, so we sprung forward. So some people may not have got that memo and still think it's 8 o'clock as opposed to 9 o'clock. But good morning, welcome to Morning Chat for the Soul. I am Phoenix Love of A Healer's Haven Holistic Health and Wellness Solution. Good morning, Great Awakening, Shyla. Thank you for joining. I work with purpose-driven leaders like yourself to provide holistic healing solutions to help you achieve your wellness goals as well as work-life balance. I am the helper to the healer and the healer to the helper. Thank you for joining Morning Chat for your Soul. And this message this morning comes at the end of our fast and detox that we were doing this week. Really just trying to clear up and cleanse our temple. And I am excited and I feel wonderful and rejuvenated. I'm hoping that many of you had an opportunity to participate in our fast and detox, our 7-day fast and detox. Which also included a technology fast. So I want to believe, because I didn't see a whole lot of social proof, as they call it, and post on what you're eating, your meals, and any questions, that people were actually doing the technology fast. So that was at least what I told myself. So I want to believe, and I do know that a couple of people were commenting and saying that they're participating. So that was good to see and good to hear that people were actually participating in the fast and detox. Because it's so important, which is what brought me to this message, and I thought it was a good message to end on our last day. So this morning it really should be about break fast, and that's having like a green drink, which I have my green drink right here, and it's loaded with chlorophyll, and it's banana, and it had green lettuce, kale, all of the good stuff, moringa, which is really good for our blood and metabolism. And lunchtime should really be a green salad or just some raw vegetables. And then we will be ending our fast at sunset, which now is going to be a little later, like an hour later or so. So depending on where you are in the country or in the world, that time may vary. But just for your evening meal, you can do some steamed vegetables. You could add back in some grains if you want, some beans, some pasta, like spelt pasta is great, which is what I'm going to be having, some spaghetti with spelt pasta. So I just want to really talk a little bit about, are you listening to your body? And that was the whole part of the reason and part of the purpose of doing a fast and detox, is to give your body, your temple, an opportunity to rest, rejuvenate, replenish, reset. I did a post in the group about really understanding how our body regenerates and how the cells regenerate naturally. This is a fascinating and wonderful vehicle that God created and designed, that He put us each in, and but we have one that we come in this lifetime in, right? So we have to take care of it. So we really want to make sure that we're doing the best that we can do each day to put in the right foods as well as movement of our body. And that really has a lot to do with not just making selections of, okay, what fruits and vegetables, I'm not going to eat carbs. And it's not only that, it's really taking the time to listen to your body, because each of us, even though we all are, spirit beings, energy beings in this human flesh, meat suit is what I like to call it, but we all are designed and created uniquely, right? So what may work for you may not work for me. Okay, I'm gonna have to plug up my phone. I thought it was charged already. Give me a second. Because your body will tell you. Yes, Chastity. Good morning. Great Awakenings, Great Awakenings. Thank you for joining. All right, let me see if I'm going to be able to sit this thing up now, because I have the word on the written. Hold on, everybody. Pause for the cause. I'm not in my normal environment, as y'all can see, so I have to make some adjustments. Those of you who will be catching this on the replay, I apologize for the movement, but I have my cord. There we go. Okay. Great Awakenings, thank you for joining. So, yes, you have to listen to your body, because your body is going to let you know exactly what it needs. Your body is going to tell you through aches and pains. Your body is going to tell you in discomfort. Your body is going to tell you when you are not, even emotionally, it's going to show up that way. Because we have to think about it this way. Everything that we consume, and I'm not just talking about what we consume through our mouth, through eating, but when we consume, what we consume from our environments, what we consume from other people, even our relationships, that's all consumption. Okay, think of everything as food. And I may have even done a live about this in the past, as well as posts. If you look at everything as food, everything is food. We're digesting so many messages on a daily basis. We digest at least over maybe 10,000 messages, maybe even more per day. That's food as well. This is all consumption. So this is why I included the technology fast as part of this detox of fast, because our body is very, very, very intelligent. It's not, remember, our brain is a part of our body, but our body is intelligent also. It gives us communication. So if you have an ache or a pain in your body, that's communication. That's telling you that you need to do something different. And I'll be transparent for a minute. Over the past, I'll say, few weeks, my body had been telling me some things. It had been telling me that I need to do something, not only do something different, but I need to make a shift. Because, just like anybody else, I have my struggles. I have my temptations in certain foods that I eat and everything like that. I'm no different. I try to keep, I don't even like to use the word try. I attempt to keep a vegan lifestyle and eat mostly vegetables and all of the things that, we talk about. But yes, I like my comfort foods like anybody else. And this is what I'm talking about as far as consumptions above and beyond food. When we get stressed out, when we are dealing with people that are toxic, or people or environments that are toxic, or environments that are just, weighing on our emotions, it puts pressure on us. And then what we want to do, we want to reach for things that's going to be comforting and soothing for us, right? And most of the time, those are foods that are not healthy. Those are foods that break down our bodies. Those are foods that cause aches and pains, that cause discomfort, that cause nausea, that cause headaches, that cause long-term illnesses, okay? That causes mood imbalances, like sugar, like carbohydrates, like high fatty foods, right? And we all know what those things are, so I don't have to go into great detail, but we have to listen to our bodies, because our body is always going to say, you know what, this is not working for me. Because remember, we were divinely created, right? God, He created us in His image. And when we think about it from that standpoint, do you think this wonderful creation that was made, that He wants us to put a bunch of junk in it? That's just like buying a luxury vehicle like a Bentley or a Mercedes or whatever, and then you go put in there in the tank, you go fill it up with, regular unleaded. We know that most of the time, if you have a luxury vehicle, they say you put premium in, right? Or you put in there, just junk. We don't do that with our bodies either. We have to be able to function. In order for us to function at our optimal level, we have to make sure that we're putting in high quality, right, foods, high quality liquids, high quality people, high quality environments, high quality messages. So that's everything from what we watch, what our eye gates are taking in. That's everything from what we're listening to, so the type of music that we're listening to. So all of these things are consumption. All of these things are food. And our body is our indicator. Our brain is part of our body. So if we're having problems, and this is where I'll be transparent, where we were having problems, I was like, why do I feel so foggy? Why am I not able to remember things? What's going on? I'm like, this is not me. So you. Just like I know me. These things may show up and manifest very differently depending on who we are. Great rising, sister. Thank you all for joining. But at the end of the day, the body is communication. It's always going to communicate with us. That's just how the divine creator made us. And it's wonderful because it gives us a chance to pause and say, okay, let me step back. Let me see, what is my body telling me? What is it telling me to do? And the only way, and listen to what I'm saying, the only way you really could be in tune with your body and be able to listen is if you are taking the time to meditate, to pray, to be in solitude, so you can hear. So not only are you listening to God and you're listening to the divine, and you're saying, okay, what are the downloads you have for me today? What do you need for me to do? Who am I supposed to be a blessing to? Sometimes He's saying, be a blessing to yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. Be a blessing to yourself. Love on yourself. Because that was the message that I got. This is why you see I'm not in my normal environment. I'm here with one of my sacred sisters. I'm by the ocean, and I spent the weekend taking care of myself. Why? Because my body said so. And this is when you have to say, you know what, let me stop ignoring it. Because a lot of us, what we do is we ignore the message. We don't listen to the message our body gives us. We ignore it until we're sitting in the hospital. And I have one of my sisters, I don't think I saw her join and come on. I'm going to wave to you guys, to you ladies coming in. Good morning, good morning. Hey, bestie. Hey, thank you everyone for joining. Just want to show y'all some love this morning, so I'm just waving. So when we ignore it, that's what happens. We end up in the hospital. We end up with chronic illnesses. And I have countless examples between friends, family members that, they'll tell me after the fact sometimes while they're sitting in a hospital bed, I knew I wasn't feeling well. I knew I kept having this headache. My blood pressure numbers was going up. Something wasn't right. But you kept going, because that's what we do, especially, and I have more ladies on here right now, especially as women. We keep going because we feel we have to show up for everybody else. And then we neglect ourselves until we hit a brick wall. And that often shows up as illness. So you have to be in tune with your body. You have to be in tune with your emotions. Okay? Again, this is all one complete whole entity, right? Our temple. And you have to take care of your own temple before you start trying to fix everybody else's situation and everybody else. Okay? And I'm really, really serious about this. This is part of the reason why I created this community, because I want everyone to understand how important it is for you to be listening intuitively, listening innately to what's going on inside of you. Excuse me. And this is why I have the fast. We are ending our fast this evening at sunset, which is different times for different people. And we'll have our Sunday soup for leaders this evening at 8:30. Okay? So this is really a quick message. And I'm just going to read, I want to read a devotion, because one of the things when I was taking the time out this weekend to really listen to my body and be obedient and get into prayer and meditation and, you know, reading scriptures and reading my Sacred Woman guide and getting back into the things that I know help to heal and keep me whole. Okay, drinking my green juice and eating live foods and alkaline foods, and intermittent fasting is so important. So we're going to be doing intermittent fasting as far as a group, probably quarterly, but you can do it as often as you like. All of the tools and the resources and the information is in the group. All you have to do is search for the last fast, which is hashtag 7-day fast, and then the one we just did, which is hashtag 2019 detox. So I posted some prayers, I posted some pictures, but I'm going to read a little bit from actually my Sacred Woman text, and I want to read this prayer regarding sacred foods and how we take care of our body and how we listen to our body. Okay? And yes, that involves movement as well. So we should be walking, we should be stretching. Like I said, since I've been out here by the water, did a lot of walking to the beach and by the water, and just beautiful, because the elements is healing on its own. Water, the fresh air, getting that vitamin D from the sun. I know today is kind of a cloudy, you know, rainy kind of day, but as much as we can, even in the winter months, to get that vitamin D in, that's healing on its own. See, we don't have to work hard to be able to detox, to fast, to live a healthy lifestyle. Is it challenging to our flesh? Absolutely. But challenging our flesh is necessary for us to see the results that we want to see. If you want to see change in your health, you have to challenge your flesh. And this is where the spiritual component comes in. That's why, again, everything that I do, my whole platform, what I do in this group, the activities, and you know what the messages that I present is about mind, body, soul, spirit connection, because one can't operate without the other. Okay, it's just like if you have a chair and one of the legs is broken, it's going to be unbalanced, and that's what happens with us. We become unbalanced. So this is why it's so necessary for us to be aware of the consumption of everything around us. And like I said, if you look at everything as food, it will change your perspective on how you consume life in general. And when I say life in general, I'm talking about the people, places, things, as well as what we put into our body for nourishment. And speaking of nourishment, when you consume foods and drink, if you think of it as nourishment, body building, mind building, emotion building, sustenance, not just so for you to survive, but for you to live, that also changes your perspective on what you're going to put into your body. Because remember, if we go back to our ancestors, right? They didn't have all these options of, you know, foods that sit on a shelf. There was no shelf sitting on a shelf, and we can go buy it and we can store it in our cabinet and canned goods. They didn't have all of that. right? They had to go and get their food fresh. And they lived longer because of it. So we go back to that thinking, and just because we have modern technology, yes, technology has its place. There's a place for having all these different options. However, when it comes to how we treat our bodies and how we live and how we eat, that really should be based in how we are designed. We have one source that have created us all and created us in his image. And there was a blueprint for how we should sustain this temple that we are living in. There's a blueprint, and we just need to follow it. And the more that we can eat from the things that are naturally grown, that is going to be edifying to our bodies. That is going to be life-giving to our body. Think about it this way. If you want to have vitality and you want to live and live a whole healed life, you have to eat life-giving foods. If you eat dead foods, something that was killed and dead, is going to produce death in your body. That simple. So this is where eating a lot of flesh, it turns into negative energy in our bodies. Because we don't know when that cow was murdered, when that chicken was murdered, when any type of living animal was murdered, we don't know what trauma they went to. We're bringing that trauma into our body. I'm just giving y'all another perspective, because flesh turns into negative energy in our body, which produces negative emotions. We wonder why sometimes, a lot of people in this world are very angry. And a lot of it is contributed to diet. But if we're eating greens and tomatoes and avocados and fruits and things that are grown from the ground and from the trees and from nature, it's life-giving. It's alkaline foods. And it's going to make whatever we're putting, remember, we are what we eat. Whatever we're putting in our body, it's going to turn into exactly the source of it. So if the source of it is life-giving, then it's going to produce life. If the source of it is death and something dead, a carcass, then it's going to produce death. So I'm just trying to simplify this thing because I want us to get it and understand that our diet, 80% of our health comes from our diet. That's a lot. And the diet of food, but then we got all the rest of that percentage is environmentally, and the people that we engage in, the relationships that we consume. So I have no idea what time it is, but I always try to keep this to a half hour, so I want to read this prayer, and then I'm going to close. And I hope to see everyone this evening. The Sunday Soup for Leaders, we actually have one of our members that's going to present and continue our conversation about healthy living and healthy foods. So here's the prayer. Divine Creator, help me to break my food addictions that cause me disease. Help me to avoid eating foods that cause cancer, high blood pressure, tumors, anxiety, and premature aging. Help me discern angelic foods over foods that create demonic action. Give me the power to eat foods that build my body into a temple of wellness, radiance, and health. May I be blessed to be of the mind to feed my body temple, meatless, vegetarian, and fruitarian foods made to perfect and sustain my sacred body temple. May my debilitated taste buds be transformed and revitalized so I may take pleasure and delight in eating foods that your divine spirit has prepared for my healing. May I find solace in consuming sacred organic fruits, vegetables, nuts, whole grains, sprouts, and pure water. May all these gifts of true nourishment make me into a holy light being. Ashe. So I want to thank each of you for joining the morning chat for the soul. I hope it was edifying for your spirit and for your soul. I'm just giving each of you some love that joined in. Thank you, Anissa, for joining. Hey, Lilith. Tuesday, thank you for joining, my sacred sister. Doretha, Tia, hey, Great Awakenings. Thank you, everyone, for coming on. Jennifer, Regina, Chastity, thank you, sis, for the hearts. So listen, join us this evening, Sunday Soup for Leaders. Like I said, I have no concept of time, which is part of my my fasting and taking care of me. So, you know, sometimes we just got to unplug and just don't be concerned with time. But be on time this evening, 8:30 p.m., right here in the group. We're going to do Sunday Soup for Leaders. And my sacred sister, Keisha Christian, is going to be joining and speaking. And she's our member, feature member for this talk this evening. So I'm excited about that. And I'll post a little bit about that in the group a little bit later. So everyone have a blessed and beautiful Sunday, and I hope to see you all later. Peace.